Why do some people enter your life, and instead of making you feel attached, they awaken something inside you that feels uncomfortable, intense, and strangely transformative? You don't crave their attention. You don't fear losing them. Yet after meeting them, you start questioning yourself, your patterns, your emotions, and even your past. This video is about those people. And if you watch till the end, you'll understand why certain connections don't come to stay, they come to heal. Most people believe connection is about attachment, about closeness, dependency, and emotional bonding. But psychology reveals something deeper. Some connections are not meant to attach you to another person. They are meant to detach you from an old version of yourself. If you've ever felt drawn to someone, yet instead of comfort, you felt awareness, if someone's presence triggered growth instead of romance, if a person made you face emotions you had buried for years, then this video is not random for you, because emotional healing does not always come through safety. Sometimes it comes through disturbance. Attachment forms when someone fills a void. Healing begins when someone exposes it. People who trigger healing usually don't try to impress you. They don't chase you emotionally. They don't need validation from you, and that's exactly why they shake you. Psychology calls this mirror activation. When someone reflects parts of yourself you avoided seeing, not by telling you, but by being themselves. Their boundaries trigger you if you're used to overgiving. Their calm triggers you if you live in emotional chaos. Their self-respect triggers you if you abandon yourself for others. You're not reacting to them. You're reacting to what they awaken in you. Attachment is built on emotional hunger. Healing is triggered by emotional truth. That's why these connections feel confusing. You feel close, but not dependent. You feel seen, but also exposed. You feel understood, yet emotionally challenged. And the mind doesn't know how to categorize that. Most attachments are comfortable. Healing connections are uncomfortable at first, because growth always threatens the ego. When someone triggers healing, your nervous system responds differently. You don't feel obsessed. You don't feel anxious. Instead, you feel alert, aware, present. Psychology explains this as a shift from trauma bonding to conscious connection. Trauma bonds feel intense, dramatic, addictive. Healing connections feel grounding, steady, sometimes even boring to the wounded mind. That's why many people reject healing connections. They mistake peace for lack of chemistry. But chemistry that comes from wounds is not love. It's recognition of pain. Healing triggering people don't activate your abandonment fear. They activate your self-awareness. They don't pull you closer. They push you inward. After meeting them, you start noticing your patterns. Why you over-explain. Why you tolerate disrespect. Why you seek validation. Why you fear silence. And suddenly, relationships stop being about them. They become about you. That's healing. These people don't rescue you. They don't fix you. They don't promise forever. They simply exist in alignment. And that alignment exposes where you are not. Psychology calls this contrast-based growth. Growth happens when your current state is contrasted with a higher emotional standard. Not higher morally, higher energetically. When someone treats themselves well, your self-neglect becomes visible. When someone respects boundaries, your people-pleasing becomes obvious. When someone is emotionally regulated, your chaos surfaces. And this can feel painful, because awareness always hurts before it heals. Attachment avoids pain. Healing walks straight through it. That's why healing-triggering people often don't stay long. Their role is not to accompany you forever. Their role is to wake you up. Once awareness is activated, their job is complete. And this is where many people suffer. They try to hold on. They try to turn healing into attachment. They try to make the lesson permanent instead of internal. But healing connections are teachers, not destinations. If they stayed, you might rely on them instead of growing yourself. Psychology shows that real healing occurs when the nervous system learns safety within, not from another person. So these people activate the process, then step back, not because they don't care, but because staying would interfere with your growth. That's why the separation feels symbolic, not heartbreaking, but meaningful. You don't grieve them. You grieve the version of yourself that no longer exists. Another sign someone triggers healing instead of attachment is this: they don't complete you, they clarify you. After them, your standards rise, your tolerance lowers, your awareness sharpens. You no longer crave emotional chaos. You crave clarity. This is psychological maturity forming. And once this happens, you can't unsee it. That's why after healing connections, toxic attachments lose their grip. Your nervous system rejects what it once craved. Not because you became cold, but because you became conscious. Healing is not about becoming detached from people. It's about becoming attached to your inner stability. And people who trigger that shift are rare. They don't enter loudly. They don't demand attention. They don't force connection. Yet their impact echoes long after they leave. You might replay conversations with them, not because you miss them, but because your mind is integrating lessons. That's emotional integration. Psychology explains that the brain revisits meaningful interactions to update self-perception. You're not obsessed. You're evolving. And here's the most important part. Healing triggering people don't need to be perfect. They just need to be authentic. Authenticity disrupts patterns built on survival. And survival patterns always resist truth. That's why these connections feel intense without drama, deep without dependency, close without attachment. They change you, not your relationship status. And once healing begins, attachment loses its power. Because you stop seeking someone to save you. You start becoming someone who chooses consciously. So if someone entered your life and instead of attachment, they left awareness. Instead of longing, they left clarity. Instead of heartbreak, they left growth. They didn't abandon you. They activated you. And that is not loss. That is transformation. And here is something most people never realize. Healing triggering connections often appear when you are emotionally ready, not when you are emotionally desperate. They show up after survival mode begins to loosen, after you stop begging for love, after you start listening to silence. Psychology explains this timing clearly. The mind cannot integrate healing while it is still fighting for emotional survival. So these people arrive when your system is strong enough to face truth. That is why they don't feel overwhelming. They feel awakening. You don't lose yourself in them. You find yourself through them. And once that happens, attachment naturally fades. Because attachment belongs to the wounded self. Healing belongs to the aware self. This is also why you may never recreate the same connection again. Not because it was rare, but because it was transitional. It marked the moment you shifted from needing to choosing, from reacting to responding, from craving to clarity. And after clarity, the mind no longer clings. It understands. So if you're wondering why someone didn't stay, why it didn't turn into something permanent, why it felt deep but incomplete, the answer is simple. It wasn't meant to last. It was meant to change you. And once change happens, holding on would only pull you backward. Healing connections don't ask for loyalty. They leave you with alignment. And alignment always leads you forward. They teach you how to sit with your emotions instead of escaping them. They teach you how to observe your reactions without judging yourself. They teach you how to feel deeply without drowning. This is emotional intelligence being born. And once it is born, your relationships change forever. You no longer chase intensity, you seek presence. You no longer confuse anxiety with passion. You recognize regulation as attraction. That is the final gift of healing triggering people. They recalibrate your emotional compass. So when someone like this crosses your path, don't rush to label it. Don't force attachment. Don't demand outcomes. Let it do what it came to do. Because some souls don't come to stay. They come to awaken you. And awakening, once it happens, can never be undone. Only expanded, integrated, and carried forward consciously for the rest life. And when you finally understand this, something inside you relaxes. You stop questioning your worth. You stop replaying what you could have done differently. You stop romanticizing what never needed to continue. Because healing brings acceptance, not attachment. You realize that not every deep connection is meant to turn into a lifelong bond. Some are meant to become lifelong lessons, and those lessons quietly reshape how you love, how you choose, and how you protect your peace. You begin to honor your emotional boundaries without guilt. You start trusting calm over chaos. You listen to your intuition instead of your fears. This is how emotional healing completes its cycle. Not with closure conversations, not with answers from another person, but with inner clarity. And once clarity settles in, you don't look back with pain. You look back with understanding, because the person didn't leave a hole in your heart. They opened a door within you. If this video resonated with you, it means you're not attached anymore. You're aware, and awareness is the beginning of emotional freedom.